Hello! Well, today I'm hiding out in the greenhouse because it's a really miserable day out there. It's windy and wet, so I apologise if you can hear a lot of noise of rain on the roof of the greenhouse. So today I'm going to be sowing some parsley, celeriac, mixed salad leaves and some leek. And I'm going to start with the parsley. Now this I'm going to sow into small pots. I only need 4 to start with, that will be plenty. And the seed sowing mix I'm using here is a mixture of coir, sieved multi-purpose compost and a bit of vermiculite. Now, I did a video about my sowing and potting mixes that I'm using this year, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Right, so I'll just fill these up. Right, I'll give them a drop of water. I'm going to sow a pinch of seed in each pot. Parsley is a little tricky to germinate, so I don't expect all of these will come. So I'll sow plenty of seed, and I haven't quite decided what I will do with these later. I can prick some out if I want to, or I can pinch a few out and leave the rest to grow on in the pots, or even take some indoors. So that will do nicely. I'll just top these off with a little bit of compost. Now these will actually benefit in terms of germination from a little bit of warmth, so I'm going to slip these into one of the heated propagators here, and hopefully that will help with their otherwise somewhat patchy germination. Right, so next up is celeriac. So I've got some compost in this tray already. So I'll just tamp that down. Give it a good water again. I should have mentioned that the parsley I'm growing is Giant Naples. Now, the celeriac is Giant Prague, and celeriac can be a little bit tricky to germinate. It's a bit patchy, rather slow to get going, and the seed needs light to germinate. So it's no good covering this with a lot of compost. In fact, all I'm going to do is sow them on the surface. So I'm just going to broadcast these across the surface. Celeriac's pretty slow going, so it's good to get this started fairly early in the season. And it's good to get a first sowing in, because if germination is poor here, hopefully I'll have time to set some more seed before it's too late. Right, that should be plenty. So all I'm going to do is just press these down into the surface of the compost to make sure they're making good contact with the moist soil. And hopefully I haven't picked them all up on the tray. Nope, just 1 or 2. Okay, so that one is fine. I will put that in a I will probably put that in one of the cool propagators later, so just so it doesn't get too cold. So next up are the leeks, and this year I'm growing Carentan. Now, very often I will grow Musselburgh, and I really like the Musselburgh leek. I've got absolutely no complaints about that. It grows well, it stands well through the winter, and it's got a very pleasant flavour. But from time to time I will grow one of the other varieties just for a change, and this year it's Carentan. That's an old French variety. Now, I found this container kicking around. I have no idea what it was originally, but it's a suitable depth for starting off the leek seedlings. So I'll just fill that up. Right. So some water. Now, there are lots of different ways of growing leeks. You can multi-sow them, you can plant them out for baby leeks. I, generally speaking, tend to grow the full-size leeks in the traditional way, so I will transplant these later in the year into holes, I don't know, six inches or so into the ground. And I really want these for a full-size leek late autumn and into winter. So all I'm going to do now is just broadcast some seed across the surface of the compost. That is probably plenty. And now just a little bit of compost to top that off. So now on to the salad. So I've got a bag of mixed lettuce seed here, and this is ideal for this job, but if you have a mixture of varieties, and especially if you've got some old lettuce seed, you can mix it all up and have your own blend of salad leaves, and that's fine. These come in different types, so if you're buying one, this came from Seeds of Italy, and they've got a mixture that's good for spring and summer, and then one that's good for autumn and winter. So obviously this is the spring summer mix. So I don't know where I got these blue trays from, but I've got a few of these, and that will let me do a succession of these trays if I want to. I will be sowing some other lettuces later, so I may or may not need more of this type, but this can be quite handy. You just get a few pickings off of it, you get 2 or 3 pickings, and then they need to be re-sown. So I've just lined this tray with some cardboard because I think the holes in this are rather too large, and pretty much all that soil would be disappearing out of the bottom. I'll give that a good watering. So the cardboard is going to get soggy here, of course, but it's going to hold together plenty long enough for this job. And you could use newspaper or something else. So I'm just going to scatter some seed across the surface. Not too thickly. They need a little bit of room to grow, and if I do get too many coming up, I will thin them when they're quite small. Right, that is plenty. Right, so I'll just give that a light covering of compost. So this tray doesn't need much in the way of heat. I will leave it in the greenhouse somewhere and it should be fine. I might pop it in an unheated propagator, and I've got a lid for the other seed tray, so I will cover the celeriac seedlings with that. So I will return with another sowing video soon. I've still got lettuce and other leafy veg to sow this month. I'd like to start off some peas and some beetroot. And if I can get the lights on the cold frames, they still don't have any glazing in. If I can get those in place, then I'd like to set a couple of rows of radish to start there. But that is it for this video. So thank you very much for watching, and bye for now.